carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 in sympathy.
I still think that Bergkamp goal is fantastic.
Oh, it's lovely. You took the words right out of my mouth, Jez. And with Adams lifting up that Premier League trophy, I think it'd be a bloody long time till we lift one of those. I'll tell you that. But,
yeah. That's
Hey, don't you realise that we've won that? We've already lifted 2 trophies in 2 consecutive years. The second to Man City trophy.
Oh Christ!
Oh God!
Up in the Emirates, isn't it, mate? They've turned the light on.
God Almighty! Oh, mate, we can't make it up, can we? Aaron, how we doing, man? Show's gone live. You started your stream the other night. It's a good start. When's your next show coming out, man?
I don't know. I think I'm going to do a little reaction, but it won't be a live. It'll be after the Atalanta game. I think I'm going to drop it about Friday, maybe about 11 a.m. I get a little bit tired sometimes in the evening. You see, I need my sleep. The job's got me up at all hours, so I'm going to do a little pre-record just to get something in there, and maybe another live the weekend, little Sunday one maybe.
Yeah, there's enough stuff coming up. Kenny, got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, but interesting weekend. You were there at the game. How you doing, mate? How's yourself?
Oh, very good, very good. It's like it's one of the, obviously it's a derby I like looking forward to. Games against Tottenham and Chelsea are my favourite, but that goes without saying. But yeah, it was a game where I expected nothing more than a win, and it was quite, how to say it was quite predictable how we done it. You know, sat back, took our chance and ran away with it. I know a lot of Arsenal fans don't want to hear that, but that's exactly how we played. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a slight that we won ugly. We're only as good as the opposition, and Spurs don't have to play us to break us down.
True, man. I mean, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but some people just don't get it. But there we go. Charlotte, be up, Jez, Doubt. Yeah, man. Okay, if you got there, don't worry, man. Don't worry about it. Anthony, good win down the lane Sunday. We got another big game this Sunday, which we're going to talk about, and we got a big game tomorrow night. So, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Jez. Great to be on the show. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. Just get our chat out in the open, and obviously, let's talk about the team that we love, Arsenal Football Club.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, this could be fireworks. Then this could be fireworks. Let's start this off right. Gabriel Magalhaes, new contract, being up on the table. I think it's a good move. Aaron, are you confident we'll keep him?
Well, you got to look at it from his side as well. Yeah, he's been with us 3 or 4 years now. We ain't won anything. The thing is, it's all well and good offering him loads of money, and he might stay. He seems relatively happy. I know at the beginning of last season there was that little possible flirting with a move away. That's why I don't think he played the first 3 or so games. But the worry is sort of for me is if you don't win anything, why would you sort of want to stay? You're 5 or 6 years into a process. Why are these big geezers gonna want to sign? Gonna want to extend? Of course, look, I want him to extend. They're the best. I personally think the best centre back partnership in Europe at the minute. I don't think few would argue. But the problem is why would they stay? If it was me, and look, I love Arsenal. He doesn't. He's just getting paid by the club. He's an employee. I'll be probably hanging on till the end of the season and going, right, let's just see where we actually are. Because if we win a three-peat of second place trophies, then big questions are going to be asked, and not just him as well. And I know you'll probably allude to other players, but some of the squad there will probably look and thinking, right, well, where are we going if we don't win anything? But look, it's a good move by the club. I think it's the right thing to do to at least try and get it done. If they time down, I'm not having a go against that. It is the absolute right move. But whether he'll do it, I mean, just we'll have to wait and see, I guess, mate.
Yeah, Kenny. I mean, great goal he scored at the weekend. That's 15 goals or something like that in the last season and this now. So we've got to keep him, Kenny, surely, haven't we? We've got to do it.
The thing is, you always want to keep your best players. Always when you beat your best players, and you always want to time down the contract. So you want to protect yourself. And the player wants to sort of like, get as much as he can. Because at the end of the day, so he can set himself up for life. The fact is that there's, regardless how well we play in terms of like play consecutively, how many trophies we win on a consecutive basis, or whether we do neither. The fact is that when Real Madrid come calling for any footballer, they go. Cristiano Ronaldo was successful at Man United. He was already, the best player in the world. But Real Madrid came calling. He threw his tools at that pram. He was persuaded to stay for another year. Real Madrid came calling again. He went to Real Madrid. So, as much as you want the player to stay, of course you want him to stay forever. You want him to use every sinew and every muscle and every sinew in his body, and you use every energy he has. But in reality, the fact is that trophies is something that you've got to take into consideration, definitely, because it was at the end of the day under Arsene Wenger, two things that cost us our best players was trophies and money. I think in some cases for most of the players it was money, but for players like Francesc Fabregas it was trophies. As much as and that's the thing, we have to start winning things. I think even if Arteta's biggest fans or biggest believers, they know that he has to have some sort of a return. I've heard a couple of them even saying that we have to take the competitions we participate in quite seriously. They want, and they're taking the League Cup, and so trophies does help. But if you don't win something, you only have to look at Harry Kane, and that's not a dig at Tottenham. Just look at him. Look at all those players when they had those great sides under the Poch. They were nowhere near winning the league. The nearest they were to winning the league was 2017, when they were 6 points behind the winners Chelsea. Got 87 points. Didn't lose any games at their home ground, but no trophies.
Yeah,
trophies is a massive consideration, plus money as well. The fact is that he doesn't love the club. He don't owe us anything. Got to start winning quick. But if Real Madrid come calling, don't blame him if he says yes, because only a fool will say no to Real Madrid.
Yeah. That's the question, actually. I mean, this is I think this could be a key to it, right? Real Madrid obviously had the big boss there at Tottenham the other day. They had their president there, linked with Saliba. If Anthony, if Gabriel signs this new contract, do you think that might be a temptation for Saliba to stay? I'm not saying he's going to walk. I'm not saying that. But as Kenny's just alluded to, when Real Madrid come knocking, it's a big, big opportunity. And do you think that'll make a difference if Gabriel signs, and Saliba might say, he's my working partner? Or if Saliba decides, nah, I've had enough of this, and we lose both of them to Real Madrid. What do you think, mate?
Well, it depends. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, we all want Gabriel to sign the contract. We got the best defense in the Premier League. That's a fact, right? But with Gabriel, we got to look at it. He was actually on the same wages weekly as in Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson. He was on 100 grand a week. Lee brought up on his channel. I remember seeing it. Now, that player has done so much for this team, Gabriel. He deserves a contract. And yeah, he does deserve a pay rise. So that's the first thing. I'm not too sure how much it is. I think it brings it up to about 100. Is it 130? I think it is 140 grand a week. So it's actually like 40 grand a week. I think they're going to be offering. So so that's a good move in the right way, in the right direction, if you like. Now with Saliba, this is a different story because it's like what I said. I've read on the Arsenal website, Real Madrid, as we all know, they've come around sniffing around him again. Basically, they want him. So I've actually read that it's actually between 100 to 120 million that they go up, and that's the highest that they will offer for Saliba, about 120 million. Believe it or not, right? The question is Arsenal actually going to afford, to turn that down? That's the main thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't want Saliba going because it's a brilliant duo. Reminds you of the old Adams and Bold link up in that defence years ago. That's them two. But the only thing that is going to be persuaded by it is Saliba himself. I think Gabriel can have his say. I don't know if Saliba's going to leave it to it. But then again, you look at it on the other end, on the different flip of the coin. Mikel Arteta did send him out on loan a couple of times, didn't he? To up his game, which was the right call in one way. So the problem is, if Real Madrid comes in for him, Arsenal are going to have to offer Saliba a certain contract where he cannot refuse to go. Obviously to go to Real Madrid. As we know, it's all about this. But if he does go, who are we going to put there? I mean, because at the minute we've only got Kivior and we've only got Timber that can most probably do a decent job at centre back. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Calafiori.
Maybe, but I mean, if he does go, you might have a chance of seeing Calafiori out on the left and Timber Timber playing centre back. So it's vice versa. Do you know what I mean? They both can play left back. They can both play centre backs. But it's like what I said, Jez. It's down to Saliba at the end of the day. If he's tempted by a good wage, a good offer, plus bonuses, this, that, and the other, there's a possibility that he might go. And also, it's like what Kenny said. It depends if we're going to win a trophy this season or not.
That's the big thing. That is, I mean, apparently, his agent, he's asking for 180 grand a week. Well, okay, pay 180 grand a week. We're paying Kai Havertz a lot more than that. Yeah. So, fair play if we've got to keep him. But, I mean, it's a key point, very key point. We must win, Aaron. We've got to win something this season, or I can honestly see we're going to lose players because they're going to think, been here, seen this now enough times. I want to win stuff. And they'll go out the door. And then we're in deep crap. Because at the end of the day, if we were to lose at least one of those players, Saliba or Gabriel, we'd be in a real mess.
Yeah. Oh, mate. I mean, he's tailor-made, isn't he, for Real Madrid, Saliba? He is. He stinks of Real Madrid, doesn't he? And that's the worrying thing. I think if we was to all sit there as Arsenal fans, we know he's not going to stay here, and retire here. If we're all honest with ourselves, we know at some stage in his career he is going to go, annoyingly. But yeah, it just all sort of depends what, like you said, what knock-on effect that has. Now, look, like if we don't win anything at the end of the season, the manager goes. But the problem is with that was we know he won't. He should do, but we know he won't. So he's got 3 more years of that. And then the players rather all basically sort of going, wow, well, we bottled the top 4. We've bottled now 3 title challenges in a row. Most of their careers then at Arsenal have just been complete and utter failure. So it's not just the centre-back partnership, who, by the way, I would absolutely just go, look, here, blank check, mate. What do you bloody want? We'll keep you for another 5 years. Because like you said, you think you got Kai Havertz strolling around on nearly 300. Martinelli, I'm sure you'll get to him later. He's on about 180, I think, rising with bonuses. So we're not scared of paying these players. If you're happy to pay these players who don't really contribute as much or as much as they should, top money, and get your top centre-back partnerships, give them their dough, innit? And bloody keep them here because you'll regret it if you let one or both of them go. I can promise you that. We will be hit hard if one or both of them go. Any team would. They're the best. I think they're the best partnership in Europe. I do.
Hey, spot on. I totally agree with you because You know, the thing is, right? I am suspicious of one thing. You know, with Calafiori, you know, in the squad. You know, I'm not wholeheartedly convinced that he's here as a left back. That that maybe, just maybe, in case Gabriel, decides that maybe I want to move on to the club, because at the end of the day, the club, Mick Arteta, although it's a long shot, he may decide that maybe I want to look elsewhere. Calafiori's there waiting in the wings, so that's one of the reasons why I am really, really, really suspicious. But in terms of the problem we have with football is, let's not forget how much we paid Henry in his last season. The season when we got to Champions League final, we all knew that Henry was looking to leave the club just after the Champions League final. We gave him another year, and what a lot of fans don't realise, we paid him 200 grand a week. Now this is 200 grand a week in 2006-7 season. Yeah, he still at the end of the season went to Barcelona.
And he was right to, Ken.
He was 100% right to, but Lee Dixon has this silly phrase called the different knock. The different knock's not rubbish. The only time the knock's different is if you're a club that is ambitious to win things. Doesn't, you know what I mean? For instance, Man City is a different knock because of Pep, because they win things. But in terms of world football, only two clubs, fall into that category of a different knock, and that's Real Madrid and Barcelona. Even now, Barcelona are on the wane, but there's still a truckload of players that are desperate to go there. They're desperate. I mean, Barcelona, in my opinion, have only got a 20% chance of winning the Champions League. And that's generous. I expect Barcelona to go out in the last 16. I expect them to be in the playoffs in order to get playoffs of the Champions League. But Nico Williams, if he leaves Bilbao, his first port of call is Barcelona. Frankie de Jong won't go. Obviously, because Barcelona are a lot of money, but it's Barcelona. And that's the thing, and that's Barcelona. Think about Real Madrid. You know what I mean? You think about it. No one says no to them. And no one says no to them. And I think that's the thing about Arsenal. You just have to accept sometimes it's not probably the club's fault. It's not the club's fault they don't win anything, or the manager's fault about motivation. Real Madrid is one of those clubs where it's everyone's dream. Even the English players will say yes. I promise you.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, sometimes, I've always used that term back in the day when we had Sir Peter Hillwood and David Dean. It was a different kind of knock, but it's going to be an awkward one. Miss says it's either we get ambitious or lose our best. Simple as that. People had a problem with players in the past leaving, but it was because we didn't match their ambitions. Absolute fact. We talked about this Monday night on Lee's show. What happened with certain players, Van Persie. We're not going to get in the Fabregas one. We're not going to get into that one, Ken. But yeah, I mean, Ashley Cole, players like that. We could name so many of them again. But Anthony, mate, to me, I mean, this is, to me, we all know, all of us sat here right now, we want to win trophies. My concern is, right, I'm not concerned about Arteta. I'm not concerned about Edu. My concern is the players, because if we don't win something this year, it could be an absolute joke show. Absolute joke for us, because if we start throwing things in the bin like the FA Cup, the carrier bag, things like that, we're in a complete mess. But before I get into that, people, smash the likes up, yeah? Get those likes up. It does help the show. But, Anthony, mate, it's a major. I think this season we've got to do something. Otherwise, we are going to be in a mess.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Jez. This season is make or bust. Seriously, it is. And it's like what we're all saying. We want to win trophies. I mean, I know you touched on back with Mikel Arteta. You're not not worried about him and that. Okay, I'm not worried about him, but I want him to we've got a January transfer window. We need to sign more players in in that window, because that window we just had was pathetic,
Yeah.
and it was. So I mean, we're worse off now. I mean, we already got no flair in our team, no stability. The depth, there's really no depth in there at all, you know. And tactical wise, as a manager, a technician, yeah, a manager of managing Arsenal needs to be up front and thinking tactical wise. But unfortunately, we haven't got that within a manager. That's the problem of where it lies as well. So it's like what you said. If we're not going to win anything this season, teams are going to become knocking on our door. We want this player. We want that player. And unfortunately, everybody's saying Saliba. You could put Saka in that equation as well. Saliba, Gabriel, Saka. I mean, there's possibilities. You can even put in, I don't know, maybe bloody Rea, the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? Or Ben White. So it's like what I'm saying. Our first team players are going to go if we don't do nothing this season. And then what does that do? That puts us back down the pecking order and getting in more players. And then when we need more players, we need more money to spend. But obviously, as we noticed, we didn't really spend a lot of money in this transfer window. So
We made
January, it's like what I said, from January, from even from the beginning part of next season, I didn't think we were going to spend big, Jez. I personally, I think if we do spend money on players, I think you're talking anywhere between 40 to 60 million on a player at the most. And we need to spot talent, and we need to do it now. The youth needs to start coming in. That's what we need to do. We need to start bringing in youth players because to help us with the depth of the squad we've got. So that's another good thing that we can have. But I mean, listen, I mean, these players today, they're young. Do they really want to win a Carabao Cup? Do they want to win an FA Cup as well? Don't get me wrong, we all grew up watching and loving the FA Cup. But at the same time, is this what's on their minds? Or do
Champions
they want yeah, exactly. They want the Champions League, they want the Premier League.
boys.
And then it's like what I said. If we don't get any, we're not going to win the Champions League. Forget that, right? The priority is the Premier League, and this is what Mikel Arteta has got to realise. He wants to keep these players because pretty much that's his own team from he last won the FA Cup. This is his own team now. 850 million spent on players. It's his own team. Get him win something. Because I'll tell you something now. We don't win anything. This contract he signed is way too early. I wouldn't have offered him a 3-year contract until he actually won the Premier League this season. Then I would have offered him the contract and said, there you go.
Fact.
Anthony, you know what I think's happened with Mikel? I think what it was is that it's a lot of it's to do with the fan and fan approval. I'm never tired of saying that when I was abroad, I missed the last game of the season. When I was abroad for the Everton game, from even thousands of miles away, you would have thought we won the league. There was there was a lot of singing his name. There's a lot of Arsenal fans saying we're a good side, which is undoubtable. But there's a lot of people saying that he's changed the club. He's changed the club. You know what I mean? So in terms of saying he's changed the club, I think that this contract was already agreed. I think, for me, I think this contract was agreed as soon as how to say it, as soon as it looked like we were going to win the league. I think this has been in preparation for a long time, and I think Arsenal fans just have to accept that. Because we're stuck with this guy because of the fact that the majority of fans think he's doing a good job. A majority of fans think that he's changed the club from top to bottom. They think that the situation at the football club before he got there was catastrophic. So he's got credit in the bank on that alone. And then if you talk about the players that he's had to get out, and then the mentality he's got to change, the defence has got to change. We're talking of it being cat, you know, what I mean? It's and that's why this guy's got the job. I'll tell you now, that's why he's got the job. He's got the job on what he's done, and as far as the fans are concerned, as far as the manager is concerned, that's it. As long as he gets to the top four, as long as he keeps on changing the culture, and as long as the fans are on his side, he's got a job as long as he needs it. It'll be, and trust me, it'll be him leaving us. It'll be him leaving us rather than the other way around. I think we just got to keep on protesting as much as we can if these trophies don't come, and keep on, lending our voice and shouting the odds. Because if we don't shout the odds, then our voice will be kind of shouted down. Because you only have to go on a podcast. You only have to talk to or listen to ex-players, and then couple with that, listen to podcasters who have access to the football club. All of these people are in my opinion, the club where they're tucked in. The club's got them tucked in. So not only is Arteta seen as someone who's cleaned the club up, Edu's seen as someone who's done a good job. Everyone thinks Edu's done a good job this transfer window. The Arteta, friends of Mikel Brigade are also friends of Edu as well, because they genuinely believe he's got it right. The fact he's got Marino in, the fact that he's got Calafiori in, and the fact that he got all these players out, and we've made about 120 million pounds, whatever that is. They think he's a hero. We've got our work cut out, and we have to be strong, because trust me, there's a lot of people who think we're the nutters, not the other way around.
Kenny, mate, it was a 10 out of 10 window, and it's a fixed bench, isn't it?
Exactly.
Fixed bench. Exactly. Five under 18s under it, and 2 Man City rejects, but a Bournemouth reject and Kiwior. But bench is fixed, and our window was 10 out of 10. And that says everything, doesn't it?
The thing is, mate, it's like Arsenal first, he says. The thing is, the club don't show enough ambition to win things. If they did, we would have strengthened in 4 positions instead of buying bit part players in Calafiori or that sausage Marino. Now, apparently, in January, Arsenal want to sign a striker. Hello, why has it taken over 3 seasons to suddenly realise we need a solid striker? What's going on here? What is going on? All of us 4 and thousands of other people out there have said we need a striker. And now Arsenal, January, we need to sign a striker. I mean, you can't make it up, can you?
I couldn't have as little faith in a human being as Edu to sign a decent striker in January. Let's just get that straight.
Well, who we get anyway?
I mean, it's one of the things where who's available. But if you pay the money, anyone's available. Rather, I mean, perhaps that Gyökeres from Sporting. I mean, Isaac, sorry, Mama. Is he available or not? But he's going to cost a bomb. I just don't think they want to spend the money. Sort of like touching on what Ken was saying, and it almost seems like we've been here before. They've got an established little squad because everyone else is crap. That are going to finish in the top 4 and get themselves probably top 4 for the next 3-4 seasons. They've got their little money now, and all of a sudden the ambition drops down, and who suffers? It's fans like us on this podcast and in this chat. They're the ones that suffer, because we actually have ambition to see this club win. We're not a little weird cult. Facts,
that's true, man. SG, my sister, who doesn't even watch football, is saying winning trophies is progression. Absolutely.
She's brought up the Premier League, isn't she? She's brought up the Premier League. It's younger people, younger fans. I say it respectfully. They're not interested in anything else but the bottom line. As far as I'm concerned, if you're trying to, with the fact that there's wall-to-wall football, it's not a given that people from Islington are going to support Arsenal or people from Harrogate supporting Tottenham. You have to earn it. You have to earn the support. You have to convince them. And the best way to convince them is trophies. You only have to go to certain parts of the country now where in areas where you never thought you'd see a Chelsea shirt, you'll see it now. And that's parts of London. And it vice versa as well. Everyone seems to be an Arsenal fan in even all parts of the country, Birmingham, Leeds, even Manchester. Why? Because of the Invincibles, what we've won. And so, you know, supporting your local club means nothing to a lot of people now. It's about winning trophies. And you know, you have to look, I'll say it respectfully, you look at Man United back in the sort of 90s and the 21st century, the amount of Man United supporters all over the UK. And we're not even talked about Ireland or the Far East. They supported Man United because Sir Alex. And then you go back, if you say I'm from Islington, Aaron, you're from West London, Des, you're from Islington as well. Anthony, you're from Bristol. I'll tell you one thing, you'll have people who are in their sort of late 40s or just early 50s who are Liverpool fans, all in your local facility.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's because they were brought up on Bob Paisley's successful sides. And Terry McDermott, Phil Neal, Kenny Dalglish, Kevin Keegan, you know, all those great sides. And I'm only Ray Clements, Bruce Grobbelaar. And that's the thing. And that was when there wasn't Sky around, but they still brought up on the fabled, Liverpool teams. And then in Spain, you're not going to have many people. You're going to have Real Madrid in all parts of Spain, even Barcelona, because it's Real Madrid. So I think that's what you need to do. It's, the SG sisters completely right. It's that. That's all people are interested in.
Of course it is. I mean, a few weeks ago, I think I said this before. I was in a shop, and there was a guy there, and he had a Man City shirt on. You know, the one where they won the European Cup. And I said to him, "Oh, right, you're a City fan." He went, "Yeah." I thought, you don't sound from Manchester, but hey, doesn't matter. So I said to him, "Oh, do you get up to the Etihad very often?" And he went, "Never been." Fucking really? You've never been to the Etihad? You're a Man City fan, right? Okay, it's not that far away. You know, it's what 280 miles, but it is what it is. That's modern football, I'm afraid. But yeah, as Vic says, for me, guys, I want us to win our bread and butter, which is the Premier League. For me, we have to win it this season, or we need a fresh start. We could and should have won it last 2 seasons, but we blew it. Now, Aaron, right? Let's move on. Let's talk about this now, right? Okay. We've got Man City Sunday 4:30 at the Etihad, right? I put a poll out. There's 417 votes so far. 61% of the guys who voted, whoever, said it would be a Man City win. 24% Arsenal. 16% draw, which I know that works out. That's 101%, but there we go. Mate, it's a massive game again. Sunday 4:30. I'll be doing a watch along for it. We'll all be watching it. What do you reckon? What do you think? What do you think about this? We've got Odegaard out. It's apparently confirmed ligament damage, so that's out for quite a while. We all knew that, didn't we? We all knew that anyway. Yeah, but they've now come out, Arsenal, and said it's confirmed. So what was the bullshit, right, that they were trying to hide it from us? I mean, we're not, as use Kenny's term, we're not pork chops. We actually do know when a player is injured. Yeah. So give me your view, man. Sunday, 4:30. It's a big game, isn't it? It's a huge game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, massive. Just quickly touching on the Odegaard injury. I mean, when your foot's 180 degrees the other way, it's not usually a great sign, is it? I don't know what wall he was trying to pull over our eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like when your foot's facing that way, I mean, you've got a fucking problem, ain't you? That ain't going to recover in about a week. But yeah, I think that's just Mikel just being Mikel, really, and it's the best way to describe him. But yeah, with regards to the with the Man City game, you know, I think it's solely because of the way he started. You know, the robot up front, Haaland. I mean, he's just absolutely bashing him in left, right, and centre, and he's sort of almost back to the first season form anywhere. He don't give a fuck. He's tearing it all up. But we've also seen last season Saliba, in particular, Gabriel and Saliba, but in particular Saliba, do a real sort of good job with him. So that's where I think the game's sort of going to go. I think if our centre-backs or our defence, but in particular our centre-backs, can handle him again, maybe we've got some form of a chance to come away with a draw. And we've already sort of seen we're quite hard to beat away. I mean, you only got to look at that performance last week. Like Kenny said, I think we didn't have to be good, but we were hard to beat. Tottenham had no answers. And to be fair, no one in 2024 has had either any answers for us either. I think we're still unbeaten away from home. I think we've kept the most clean sheets. So we've got some sort of chance. You know, if you was to tell me to put my mortgage on a result, I wouldn't be putting it on an Arsenal win. I can promise you that.
No.
But I do. I think with Odegaard out, yeah, it's a bit of a miss. But I think with Declan Rice back, that gives us a bit more of a chance, you know. And if you ask me which one of the two I'd rather miss, I actually would say no to Odegaard, purely because, I mean, he probably ghosted in the game anyway. But, you know, considering that, I don't think we're going to go on the front foot. I think Declan Rice would give us the opportunity to at least come away with more than an L, you know. It's a big one. And I guess as well, some of it sort of hinges on what team he sort of plays on Thursday night. You know, I don't expect massive changes, but you know, it'd be nice to see one or two sort of rested in preparation for that big game on Sunday. I'd love to sort of want to say a 0-0 or a 1-0, hopefully get a goal this time, but you know, hopefully if we was to lose, it'll only be like the 1-0 or something. But I don't know, I want to be a little bit optimistic after the North London derby. I'm a little bit buzzing, especially considering I get to rub it into loads of my Spurs mates' face. I love that, absolutely love it. I spent about an hour after the game on the phone to about 20 people, you know. Give me a good old smile, it did. But yeah, I want to say we might be able to nick a little draw about it, Jez, but I'm being more hopeful, maybe lying to myself a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I want to win. I'm hoping we can get a sneaky 1-0, 2-1, maybe. But as Gunner 69 says, any news on if Saka is injured? Apparently, he's okay. Apparently he's okay. He's in training, so I'll take that as a positive. To be fair with you. But 1 minute motivation. Hey, I'm a young red. Good question here for Kenny. How good was Ian Rush? If you see him play, he has scored the highest goals for Liverpool. Kenny, you saw him play. I saw him play. What's your view, man? Ian Rush.
The best. The best strikers that this country, the UK's ever produced are three strikers. Ian Rush, Gary Lineker, Jimmy Greaves, and I would, without any doubt, obviously you talk about Dixie Dean, but that's way before my time, but I'll put Harry Kane in that category.
Shearer?
Yeah.
Shearer. I think Harry Kane's better than Shearer. I think Harry Kane, in terms of his regularity of the goals he scored, but Harry Kane and Shearer are level behind Gary Lineker and Ian Rush. But Ian Rush, for me, is one of the best strikers ever. You think of his first, spell at Liverpool before he went to Juventus. It's unbelievable, the amount of goals he scored. And the first striker who was the first defender, you know, he was the one who started the first press. He was the one who used to try and stop teams from, you know, getting out their half. And then he'll have that energy to get on the shoulder. He scored all sorts of goals. Left foot, right foot, headers, tappings, everything. He didn't even take penalties. He didn't take one penalty Ian Rush. He only took a penalty in the penalty shootout in the 84 European Cup. But Ian Rush, easily one of the best strikers of all time. Gary Lineker is close, if not just on a sort of level, but Gary Lineker took penalties, especially towards the end of his career. But Guernica's another one who's up there. But yeah, Rushy, Gary Lineker, I think. And then obviously Jez's time, Jimmy Greaves, those three in that bracket, and then Shearers and Harry Kane's just at the bracket below.
This is a question then, Kenny. I've got my view in this. Do you think, right, Ian Rush wasted his international career? You know, he played for Wales. Do you think he would have been better off playing for England? I mean, he only played for Wales because of his grandfather's rights. So, what do you think, mate? Don't know where he's gone.
He's on the phone, isn't he? Hello, Kelly.
Did you? Yeah. Do you think Ian Rush wasted his international career playing for Wales? Yeah, I mean,
not at all. Yeah, not at all, because he's Welsh. He's Welsh. There was no chance of Ian Rush playing for any other country other than Wales. He was brought up in. He went through the Welsh school system, played for Welsh schools. He was from North Wales, D side. Him and Kevin Ratcliffe couldn't play for anyone else. You know, the fact is that if you look at the Welsh teams of the yesteryear, and you look at the Northern Ireland teams of yesteryear and the Scottish teams of yesteryear, they're levels above the present Welsh teams, the present Northern Ireland teams, and the present Scottish teams. The reason why I say that is because foreign players back in the sort of 70s and 80s and early 60s, the foreign players were your Republic of Ireland players, your Welsh players, your Scottish players, your Northern Irish players. Yeah. They were playing top class football, and they were winning European Cups. But the level of international football, especially in Europe, was so high that even England was struggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I mean, so that's how high it was. You know, some countries were just Italy, Germany, they were just levels. So if he played for England, well, he wouldn't have won anything, because the style of play that England played in the 80s was just, Charlie Hughes football, long ball, kick and rush, how they play in the Premiership. Teams in Europe in world football who were able to keep the ball were the teams that did well. England at best would get a quarter final if they're lucky, or sometimes, Jez, in the 70s, and they've qualified, and that's England. What about Wales? Wales never qualified for a tournament during that period, but yeah, he's Welsh. He couldn't play for anyone else. I'm sure if he had English blood, all day longer he'd have played. But we had Gary Lineker, the best England got to in the Italian 90 semi-final, quarterfinals of the World Cup in 86. 88 didn't get out the group stages in the European Championships, and that was with Gary Lineker. And England had a really, really excellent team, but the players were just knackered. You know, so would he have done it for England? You know what? Sometimes it's a team around you that makes you play, gets you level.
True. That's a good point, actually. Anthony, question for you here, mate. Diving into Destiny asks, big up the panel, what do you think happens if Mikel doesn't win anything again with his new contract? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, in my opinion, I think he should be gone. But listen, it ain't going to happen, Jez, because if he does go, well,
what do you think, Walk?
You can't sack him. They won't sack him because they'll have to fork out 36 million plus, because obviously he was on £8 million a season before this contract was offered. He's now on a staggering 12.5 million a year in wages, Mikel Arteta. So obviously,
and Walk, do you think he'd say, right, I'm sorry guys, I've done my best, I'm off?
No, he wouldn't.
Did he do that?
Well, it'd be nice for him to do that, but I can't see it, Jez. I honestly can't see it. I honestly can't see it. Even though we would love to him, we would love for him to walk, but I can't see it. So, in all fairness, no matter what, it seems like it seems like he owns, to me, it seems like he owns Arsenal Football Club because it's Mikel Arteta at the end of the day. And that's it. I mean, if I was in charge of Arsenal Football Club, put it this way, if I was one of the Cronkies, I'll be asking questions saying, well, you've had 850 million, you've been backed, right? And you have won nothing. Pep hasn't spent nowhere near that at Man City. Do you know Birmingham City this season? This is true. Birmingham City spent more than Man City this season in the transfer window.
Fair enough. Well, I didn't know that. I did
Yeah,
not.
yeah, honestly. And you know what? Look what they're going to do this season. I mean, I call it on every show I got. Man City, they got a team A, a team B, and a team C. When you jump all those players up, that makes your team C. We haven't got that. So it just proves that Pep is, well, he's just a class manager at the end of the day. He can spot talent, and he's got the pulling power to bring these young players in at a certain price, like 30, 35 million, and they come out, well, what are they? Fantastic players, and they go on to win trophies. We haven't got that at Arsenal Football Club. So with Mikel Arteta, I would want to see him gone, but with him just signing that contract, unfortunately, Jez, I can't see it.
No, I'm
Agreed.
yeah. I'm just wondering if he'd fall on his sword and say, well, you know, whatever.
I hope he would, but even if he does, Jez, I can't see him leaving.
He's not going to walk away from 12.5 million a year, is he? Let's be honest with you.
Who's
Mattson,
going to have him?
who's
That's what I
got
mean.
out for a very long time, need to go back in the window for a replacement for the second half of the season. That is what I said the other day.
If he's torn all his ligaments, Jez, he's going to be out for a while. I've had that injury when I played football, and I was in plaster for 3.5 months.
Yeah, it's not a nice injury, and then you got to get match fit again, and then you know, so that all this bullshit that Arteta came out with the other day.
Yeah, but I was.
Go on.
You know what? Sorry, Chase. I was at the Brighton game, right? And at the Brighton game, he got a kick on the ankle from Minter, and he was limping all over the pitch. You know, he was half fit. That situation started, you know, before he went on international duty. Everyone's saying it happened on international duty. No. The damage, you know, like how do I say it, the deterioration started at Brighton. Now Arsenal, I think Arsenal, you know, gave in to the player. The player wants to. He's captain of his country. He knows that if they do well in that group, they get straight through to the World Cup playoff qualifiers. So he's probably. I think the club should have put their foot down, but I think they left it up to the player. I really think, and I think that's what it's called, because you had to look at the Brighton game, and there was no way he was fit to go play for his country. No way.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good point, Kenny. I'd forgotten about that actually. Aaron, Gunner 69. Good comment. Would Arteta get all the love if he hadn't played for Arsenal?
To be fair, I don't think much would have changed. To be fair, I think Arteta's brought a lot of all of this PR and all this weird sort of love in the things that he does, the decisions that he makes. I don't really think it changed that much. And to be fair, you know, it's hardly as if he was, you know, such a mainstay or a massive Arsenal midfielder anyway. I mean, I know I'm not sort of as old to see teams have passed, but when I think of Arsenal midfielders, proper midfielders, I think of like Mersons, you know, I think of the T's, I think of Vieiras, I think of Gilberto's, you know, I think of all these sort of players. I don't think of Mikel Arteta. I think he'll be exactly the same way he is everywhere, just polluting the fans, hypnotising the fans, and just creating his weird little cults wherever he goes. Unfortunately, it's here at the minute, and we're seeing it in the stands, on YouTube, everywhere.
Yeah, good point, Kenny. And I'll come to Anthony. Question for the panel: what will be the reaction of our fan base, especially the toxic positive one, when our key players want to leave because of another trophyless season? Kenny, what do you think, mate?
The fans will turn on the player. The fans will turn on the player because simple reasons that they generally think a majority of them think that we're in a good place, that the players be impatient, and that trophies will come. And then once we win trophies, we become a force. Though, it's the same sort of conversations that we had in 21, 22, 23, and 24. So they'll be saying the same thing. They'll be upset as well because they think that if the key players do leave, then it's going to be a start again. And what will happen. That'll be another kind of excuse menu for the manager, because he's going to need more time to rebuild another team that nearly won things. So it's quite. But our fans, there are some of our fans who are unlike all four of us who think that if you talk about Arsenal, you can only be positive. You can only say they're the best team in the country. You can only say they're the best team in Europe. You can only say as centre-halves have got the best centre-halves partnership in Europe. You can only say, Martinelli's world-class. You can't say Martinelli's a good player but needs to do more, or he's off form. You're not allowed to say that. So those category of fans are going to be completely, they're going to go berserk if these players leave. And it will have nothing to do with us not winning trophies. It's because they've left Arsenal in the lurch, and they left the club that's on the up. That'll be their reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony, mate, what do you think? I mean,
well, I think there's two separate fans at our football club. You've got the ones that don't think Mikel Arteta is the right manager, including myself, to get us up there over the line. And then obviously you've got the other fans that totally adore him. On the fans that totally adore him, yeah, I would say, oh yeah, but all these players have left. Like, oh yeah, but we got King Mikel. He's going to bring in some talent into this squad. He's got the money there to spend to attract new players to come in, and they're going to be on the up. This is what the Arsenal fan base would be like the other channel, the other ones we don't really watch. So it'd be people like them, and then it'd be the younger fans, the younger generation of fans, watching them and actually listening to them saying, "Oh yeah, King Mikel, yeah, we're going to have this player, we're going to sign this one, that, and that." But the real fans like us, we can actually predict what's going to happen further down the line. So that's what that's going to be. He's actually Mikel Arteta. He's like a build, like if you're in the building trade, Jez. He's built the base and the foundations basically, and he's gradually building up. Now with those players leaving, you're gradually knocking that down. So do you know what I mean? So we'd be screwed basically, and that's what it'd be. And it'd be a long time, a long process. It's an entrusted process to rebuild it all back again. And it wouldn't surprise me if he gets offered another contract as well.
No,
2 years down the line.
No.
Anthony, you can do the first fix, can't he? But he can't do the second fix, mate.
Yeah,
basically.
that's right. He can't get us. He's not there anymore. It's like the Premier League. True, is dangling in front of us, but we just can't seem to grasp it. But if we had another manager in charge, like our last manager, Unai Emery, we would have lifted that. Not last season and the season before.
Exactly,
last two seasons.
But it's Pep's fault. Pep's can't beat Pep. So basically, we've that's why we've won trophies already. Those people who are going to be going to go berserk if these players leave. They're going to think, well, hang on, we've won the second to Pep trophy. That how can we keep eating against Pep? Man City's a juggernaut.
Where's this one, Kenny? Where's this second to Pep trophy? I've not heard this one. This is a new one.
That's exact. That is actually a phrase that I've used, but Man City fans use quite regularly, and that's the thing. There's a lot of Man City fans who look at Arsenal, and their phrases that were used. One in particular says, "Hang on here, no one is scared of Arsenal." Arsenal fans and people think, people are scared of Arsenal. He said, no one's scared of Arsenal. He says that people were scared of Klopp's team that had Salah and Mane and players like that in the front three. He said that team was scary because that team won the league and you just didn't mess with them. He said even City was scared, even Pep picked them up. But he reasoned that no one bigs up Arsenal, that it's only Arsenal fans who think Arsenal is scary. But, you know, when we talk about the second Pep trophy, a lot of Arsenal fans generally believe, one, this is a juggernaut. They seem to forget that these Man City sides that won the league last season, the season before, are not a juggernaut. The real juggernaut teams was the 2018 team that got 100 points and the 2019 team that got 98 points. That's the real juggernaut of the teams. You look at the players they had, and that was even without Haaland. But you look at the players they had, you look at the captain they had in Vincent Kompany, and then you look around and think, tell me where the weaknesses were in those teams. You look, a team that wins 100 points, that's a juggernaut. A team that wins the treble without the European Cup but still gets 98 points, that's a juggernaut. These two teams, those teams are better than treble winning side, and they're better than the side that winning last season. But Arsenal fans won't have it any other way other than we're a great side. It's only Man City stopping us from being great. Greater.
Kenny as well, mate. Do you know what? I can see some similar like traits to last season as well. Yeah, you know, like solid against like the better teams. We had a good sort of record against the bigger teams, but it seems like we throw it all away in the smaller games. And you know, you only got to look at Brighton this season, and I can see like the parallels between it. You know, we'd have won the league twice if we hadn't have thrown it from the league, and it's at home and all. And
that's the
you know, you look at them home results over the last two seasons. I think that's exactly what's cost us two leagues. That's not Man City's fault. It's not Pep's fault.
You're right. I think teams perversely, play better at the Emirates, so they do it their own grounds because we just strengthen and squeeze the life out of them. You know, give them bear hugs. You know, footballing wise, that they can't breathe, and they went, "Oh, enough's enough. We can't beat these," and we lose. But the thing with this Man City side this season, they're looking very ominous to the extent that they're now at that level. In 4 games in, I know it's early, but they mean business. They believe that they can win every game. We have to assume they're going to win every game. They're going to be the next Invincibles, and that we got no margin for error in any competition we participate in, but mainly the league, where can't drop any points because you have to assume that they're going to win every game. And that if you want to win the league, you're going to have to beat them home and away.
Well, what was it Arteta said at the beginning of the season? Oh, he said, to win the league when he was asked, we'll have to get 114 points. Well, he already fucked that up after 3 games. Right.
He's actually telling the truth. I mean? For once in his life, it was the truest thing he's ever said, because actually sat at the level you have to get to with teams, with this Man City side. And this Man City side this season, not the Man City sides of before, but this Man City side, they mean business. They ain't messing about there. You know, they're going to come to on Sunday. They're going for that win. They're going there to blow us out of the water, playing their way.
It's a question, good, interesting question, man. Kenny Wise, locksmith, security specialist. Evening, guys. Would you shake Mikel Arteta's hand? Aaron, would you shake his hand if you bumped into him at the Emirates or something?
I'm not a rude person, so I'll tell him to fuck off instead. I think. No thanks, not for me.
Kenny, what would you do, man, if he bumped into him?
It's funny thing. It's funny to say that. The day after my birthday, the whole family was staying in the Islington International Hotel, the Ritz Hotel in Angel. Yeah. And I didn't realise that there was a special convoy staying at the hotel, but they wouldn't tell us who it was. So after breakfast, we're the only ones there. And as we were coming out, one guy said to me, "Oh, you must be one of the Arsenal players," because he saw my Arsenal shirt. I went, "Oh, no, I'm not." He goes, "Well, if you're not, your teammates have just walked out." And when I looked out, came out to the front, all the players were out there. So I said something in Spanish, and Mikel Arteta actually said hello to me from a distance, but he said hello. And I thought, bloody hell, if only he watched the podcast that I was on.
That's mates now, eh?
No, it was 2 years ago, and he said hello to me.
Amigos.
He was completely and utterly polite. I mean, he must have been in a bad mood when he was a bit offish to fans when he was a player. But yeah, he was actually in a good mood, and he said hello to me. So, and that's only because I said something in Spanish, but it wasn't 100% directed at him because it was the other coaches that were out there. But he said hello, and I said, "Oh, hello," and that's it. So it was for a distance, but I'm sure, you know, I won't be attempting to speak to him before. But you know, with me, it's a funny thing you say that. If I see a celebrity, I'll walk past them. I don't want to talk to them because,
Nah.
as far as I'm concerned, is that I'm one of those people who just think, just leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them get on with it. Ex-players, I'll talk to them because the reason why I talk to ex-players because I know, and I say it in a perversely, they actually need fans to come up to them and shake their hand and remember them because they've lost all that kind of adulation, and they're just basically Joey Normal. So occasionally they need someone to go up to them and say, "Yeah, are you Mickey Troy? Are you Kevin Campbell? God bless your soul, Kevin Campbell." Or didn't you used to run the Arsenal shop? You know, Jack Kelsey. They like that. They need it because it actually hurts them, and they don't realise it hurts them when the star fades and no one recognises them anymore. So I help them out a bit and big them up and tell them they're the greatest. Because I think they need that.
Oh.
But top players, no chance. I want to know.
Can I just add something in quick? Sorry. I'll tell you what. I'll shake his hand if he wins me a Champions League or a Premier League. There you go.
I think you want to do a bit more than that.
Anthony, if you bumped into Mikel down in Bristol, or the Emirates or wherever you might well be, would you? And you had your Arsenal shirt on like you got right now, and he went like that. Would you go and shake his hand? Would you say thank you, Mikel, or what would you say?
I'll most probably shake his hand and say, "Look, you don't know me, but if you don't win the Premier League this season, I got a trained set of skills, you know. And if you don't win it, I will hunt you down and I'll come." It'd be Liam Nielsen from Taken. No, it wouldn't be. No, I don't think I would. I don't think. It sounds horrible. I got nothing against the guy personally, and you know, and that's a fact. But I don't know. It's a really hard question to answer. But the minute I feel, this minute in time that I feel, I don't think I'll shake his hand. No.
No, I mean, I've been thinking. When I saw that comment, I'm sitting here thinking, if I bumped into him somewhere, wherever, it doesn't matter, and I had an Arsenal shirt on or something to say I'm an Arsenal fan of some description, and he said, "Oh, you're an Arsenal fan, whatever," and I'd say, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "Right, okay, fair enough. How do you think the team's going and what do you think's happening?" I'd say, "Absolute crap, and you need to leave." And I'd walk away, to be honest. That's it.
I reckon if he headed up to Bristol, I think it'd be underneath one of Anthony's tractor tyres, I think.
Oh, God, don't say that. God, boy, man.
You'd have to clean the tyre, wouldn't you?
I'm one of those people. It's not. I don't hate him personally. I've never met the man, right? I've seen him play football, but I just don't think he's good enough for this football club. And therefore, if you're not good in this football club, I will tell you, you're not good enough for this football club. I'm not going to shake his hand for failure. Just saying. Why would I shake the man's hand when you failed? Anyway, let's move it on. Before we wrap it up, guys, Atalanta tomorrow night, Kenny. How are you seeing it going, man?
We've got to win. You know, I'm very encouraged by the performances, especially the away performances of the English side yesterday, because what it showed me is that it wasn't so much footballing levels, it was a fitness level that I think English clubs are at their fittest this stage of the season, especially against, you know, teams that are a level short of them. Like young boys were a level short of Aston Villa. Aston Villa went for the kill, banged them out. You know, Liverpool went a goal down after 2 minutes, but after that they took complete control of the game. It's because of the level of play they got and level of fitness. And I think it'd be an absolute missed opportunity if we didn't if we didn't go with a strong side tomorrow. I know a lot of fans just say, oh, yeah, you can't go with a strong side. If we don't go with a strong side, we get beaten, then we deserve every criticism we'll get. But we go strong, we'll win comfortably, and I'll go for a 2-0.
Mate, Kenny, we've got a strong side. I mean, come on, Kenny. You know, we've Champions League last year, this season. This is what the Arsenal Atalanta have been asking for. And now there's people, fan base, saying, oh, we got to rest players for Man City. Oh, we can afford to lose this game. No, come on, man. This is the Champions League. The one trophy we've never, ever won. Got the close once, capitulated. No. We got to go, and we got to go for it. And this will show. This thing is, Kenny, this will show to these arsewipes, right, that we haven't got the squad. Because if we put a strong team out tomorrow night and it doesn't go our way, then we got to go again on Sunday at 4:30. And maybe these people will start to wake up and think, actually, hello, this club's got it wrong.
It's much worse, Jez. It's much worse. I can tell you now, categorically, it's much worse. And I'll tell you why it's much worse. You think about it now. You're gonna love the international breaks, because you think about it, from now up until like January, we're going to be playing virtually every 3 days again because of this extended Champions League going into up until the end of January. You think about the midweek matches as well. You think it's bad now. You wait from the end of the international break in November till the end of January. You ain't seen nothing yet. Trust me. You're going to have. You think about our away games as well in November. All London derbies. Sandwich between London derby and Fulham is Man United at home. Sandwich between those Champions League games in January is a North London derby week at home. So if you think, you know, that, you know, we're not going to rotate. We may have to enforce rotations, but you may find, and you're going to want to kick me throw something at me, one of your tools at me, Jess. Don't be surprised if he rotates in the league.
Kenny, I can see it, but the thing is, we've got to keep pushing it, because I'm sorry, Arsenal, Edu, and that crew have brought this on themselves.
Yeah,
it's not us. It's not the Arteta sexuals. It's our Edu and that bang of clowns at the end of the day. But yeah, I get it. I hear what you're telling me, and much as I don't like the international, the trouble is though, Kenny, a lot of those players we've got will be playing in the international break.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because you're right. The League of Nations they want to make the League of Nations like a tournament. But you know, with the League of Nations, as much as you guys hate it, from a sort of you know, how do I say it, masochistic viewpoint, the right teams have won it. You think about it. If you're setting up if you've introduced a competition, League of Nations, and you want it to be an important competition, to be just as important as the European Championships, because it's like a rip off the European Championships anyway. You look at it, the right teams have won. Portugal, France, and Spain. It was not so. It just shows they're taking it seriously. That's good for UEFA, but not good for fans who want their players to have a break.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Anthony, big game tomorrow. First Champions League game away at Atalanta. Won't be an easy game. How are you seeing it going, mate? Give us your view, forecast. What do you think?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Jez. It's great to start the campaign off with a win. You know, whether it's 1-0, 2-0, or 2-1. But what I want to see Mikel Arteta do, jumble up this team a little bit. You know what I mean? Because we got Man City coming up on Sunday. So if we can jumble up this team, and maybe it might not be a great game, maybe it would be like a smash and grab, 1-0 win, get in and get out, and then from there we can concentrate on Man City. So that's what I really want him to do. I can't. We can't really afford to play any first team players and get any more injuries. You know what I mean? We just can't. And I mean, there's a hell of a lot of games now in this Champions League, and we all know, as football fans, more games sometimes results to more injuries. So, and the depth that in our team that we haven't really got. So let's jumble this team up and pick out a good team, yeah, and get this game over the line, done, win onto Man City. But the problem is with Man City now is Haaland. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got the best defence in the Premier League. Haaland's going to be, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Let's get this right. But the man's a machine. He's an absolute machine, and he's a threat. So Gabriel and Saliba's got to be on their, they got to be on their toes and man marking both of them on Haaland. You know what I mean? And it's just a little fault for something out there. In the last 12 games that we've played against Man City, we've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 10. So that's another thing to look at as well.
It's interesting. Aaron, same question to you, my friend. Atalanta away, Champions League, first game, back in it, different format. It's Atalanta away. It's not going to be an easy day out. They've got a pretty decent record. So, how do you see it, my friend?
Well, I think you've got to put pretty much first team sort of squad out there. You want to get off to a good start, didn't you, in these competitions, especially away from home. If you get a good result, in that first game away from home, it just sort of sets a good tone, doesn't it, for the rest of the group? When you start losing, you don't want to start playing catch up after the first game. How I'd go about it if it was me, I'd just make sort of smart substitutions, smart sort of swaps for the game. And by that, I sort of mean, Thomas Partey, players that more need like game managing. He had another 90 minutes. He breaks down so easily. Declan Rice, he wasn't suspended by UEFA anyway, so I just think it seems easier for him to just come in, rest Thomas Partey, just keep them legs. Plus, I think Arteta will want to start him on Sunday. I think that's quite smart. I think Saka, should sort of come off. He shouldn't really, in theory, have to have him. This squad should have players sort of like maybe like a Sterling. I'm not his biggest fan, but they should be able to come in for these games, like 2 or 3 subs and just make sort of a difference. So I'd rest Saka and Partey, and perhaps as well you're in Timber. I mean, he hasn't. I think on Sunday at the Tottenham game, I think that was his first ever competitive 90 minutes for Arsenal. So I think we'll need to just game manage him a little bit. Maybe if Cauliflower was ready to jump in, but I'd largely start a strong team. As I said, you want to set the tone, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's an interesting point you just brought up there about Partey. I thought he was the worst player on the park on Saturday. Kenny, you were there at the game.
I think what it is, right, is that the best players in our team were the defence and the goalkeeper.
Yes.
But the goalkeeper he struggled a bit with trying to play the ball out the back. Tottenham the first half pressed us into a bit of submission, and we really had to be at our best. And I think the thing with Thomas Partey is that a lot of teams are going to be doing that now. If they think that he's a yard off the pace, he's going to have to try and simplify his game a bit. Cut the Hollywood pass for a while, just keep it simple, and then when it's generally on, play it. Because I think he tries a Hollywood pass way too much. I did the concrete at the lane way too much, and then that's where teams are targeting. But saying that, one thing you would say about Thomas Partey, as long as Thomas Partey plays, we can have a look more at Declan Rice in the number 8 position. I hate Declan Rice in number 6. I think for £105 million, that's a lot of money for someone to just screen the defence. You want a bit more, i.e. more than with that sort of money in number 8 position. But, you know, let's be honest, it's Thomas's last season. I don't think the club's he's going to go on a free, probably to the Saudi Arabia. So if we can get as many games out of we can get out of him, then we'll go pretty close again. But we really, really need to replace him pronto next season.
Yeah, sadly, I tend to agree with you, man. Kenny, you were just before we wrap this up. You were at that game. Absolute nonsense. Tottenham fans, 2 big lumps, and another guy who's an absolute melt, having a pop at AFTV, all the gang. Having to be given security by the Tottenham security people. No need for that, is there? Come on, now, these are just YouTube.
There is a need to it, but I think what happened when I was doing what happened, there's some geek who calls himself Irish Arsenal fan, some Nigerian bloke, and he's basically a paid idiot who what he did is that he goes to grounds and he basically provokes the home supporters. So, for instance, the arsehole was at the in a Liverpool shirt trying to provoke Man City supporters. It's all a TV program. It's a gimmick. It's one of those kind of TikTok garbage. But
yeah, worse.
It was writing a lot of Man City. It was writing a lot of Man United fans, and the police were moving him on. He says, "Oh, it's only a game. It's only a game." And I think what's happening is that some of the Spurs fans probably thought that idiot was part of the AFTV. But yeah, unfortunately, that's what you get at the North London derby. There's always going to be someone who's going to want to have a pop. You know, it's
really, did they, Kenny? I mean, you got 2 big lumps, bald-headed geezers, big lumps, big old and they didn't actually. But
that's the thing. You always know that the best result for your safety when you come out of White Hart Lane is if you lose. If you win, then you got to make sure that you're not outnumbered, because they are angry, and even now, some of their fans are angry towards everyone in their football club. But unfortunately, that's a derby for you. The days of
I get it.
It's not right. It's not right. It's not right, Jess. It's wrong. It's like, and it said it's arrestable offences, but some people just won't let go. They won't let go of the football factory Green Street mentality inside them.
Do you think, though? I'll ask you this. I mean, I've got my own opinion on this, right? Been a load of North London derbies myself. Do you think AFTV, right, filming outside of the ground incited that sort of thing?
AFTV are provocative. They don't really realise how provocative they are. They're provocative to our supporters, let alone the away supporters. But everyone knows that in a North London derby, if you're gonna film in the vicinity of Spurs fans, then God help you. But the fact is that the police. I'm very surprised that someone got through, because normally at the end of the game, there's a massive convoy of police fans that don't let you go through the kind of the entrance that you came out of. You will go all the way down to Tottenham Hale. Obviously, some people take detours into Northumberland Avenue and go back the way they came from. But because that's the problem you have, you're not going to miss them. You go to Tottenham Hale, they're there. I think the police has got it wrong. I think it's one of the things where getting out of Spurs, it's no matter how much you try, you're never going to avoid seeing their fans. And the problem is, as the stewards, they want to go home, so they won't let you film inside the ground. And if you film outside the ground, they push you towards the fans. So at the end of the day, if AFTV really, really, really are fearful of the attack, my advice would be to wait till you get back to Finsbury Park and do your interviews there. Get in a car with you, pick the people you're going to interview, get a car, boom, outside the old Arsenal sports shop, outside Finsbury Park station, do what you did in 2017, where you had no choice but to leave the area because Spurs fans were livid, and they won.
The thing is, you are sort of, I don't know, is this the right way of saying? You are sort of asking for it because going to Tottenham, going to Chelsea away, it's always going to be.
In a day, that's their lifeblood. That's their staple diet. That's what they're known for. They're a fan channel, and even though they probably make more money out of watch-alongs and more money out of their podcast, ultimately they're known for videoing fans outside the game after a match. That's what they're there for. So they'll have to do it. Where they do it, completely up to them. But anywhere they do it, that's the thing. You've got to take the rough and smooth. I always say if you put yourself out there, then you have to be able to take the heat. If it's too hot for AFTV, then get out of the kitchen or get in the kit, go into what I call into the dining room at Footy Park and do your interviews. They don't have to. Well, that's us Spurs.
You know what they're doing.
You could go to Footy Park and do it because they've lost a game. Your presence is prerogative anyway. And just think, our fans don't like you, let alone the opposition.
It was a bit funny. I'm going to come to you, Aaron. That you had two lumps, right, and then another fella, and they're giving it the big one, and the stewards are there. But if you look at that video, right, there's Arsenal fans stood there. They're not having a go at the Arsenal fans, right, which would have happened back in the day. There would have been a kickoff, right? You've got guys there with their Arsenal hats on, their Arsenal scarf, and all that, right? They're having a proper AFTV. So I found it a bit bizarre. I mean, Aaron, give me your view before we wrap this up, because I just thought it was a bit bizarre, a bit pathetic, to be honest.
I mean, they certainly know what they're doing, don't they? I mean, like pretty much like what Kenny said. They don't have to do it where they're doing it today. He knows how to make a couple of pence and all, doesn't he, Robbie? He knows how to get people talking, and look what's happening now. People are talking about it. I must be totally honest with you. By literally me and I have nothing to do with that show. I've not seen the video. I didn't watch it. So, but I've heard about people talking about it. But yeah, I just stay away from it. So I can't really contribute much on the video itself, other than just sort of they know what they're doing. They're getting people talking, and it's all to be relevant, stay relevant, and it's very avoidable, ain't it? At the end of the day, I'm not saying that's what should happen. Like violence outside for that. They're essentially just filming, but they also don't have to film there, do they? They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I just think they're stupid doing it outside White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
Anthony, mate, I don't know if you've seen the little snippet video of it. It was, to me, pathetic. Two big fat lumps, giving it big, large. One's holding another fella back, and it's like, well, you're not actually doing anything. You're just mouthing. You're mouthing. You didn't even get through the security. Yeah, and there's Arsenal fans stood behind you just laughing. It's a bit embarrassing for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit embarrassing for them. Yeah, I mean, it's like with AFTV. No matter what they're going to do, they're going to do what they do anyway. Around football stadiums, interviewing Arsenal fans, this, that, and the other. But I'm the same as Aaron. I didn't watch the video, but I mean, in all fairness, even though whether you watch them or whether you don't, or your opinions on them is whatever, but do I agree with obviously with what's happened, sort of thing? And to answer your question, Jez, no, I don't agree with it. But that's me. So that's all I can say on it. But yeah, it is wrong. I mean, I knew they could be annoying. You know what I mean? But that's the way how it is, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just YouTubers trying to.
Yeah, they are.
Just choose not to watch them like I do. Choose not to watch them. It's not hard, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. All YouTubers are geeks. We're all geeks, aren't we? At the end of the day, let's be honest. That's it. Thumbs up.
You're spot on about it. At the end of the day, the fact is, you're not going away.
Outside, Kenny, you do. Your vlogs and you do your fan cams on Leeds. It's no different for you standing there.
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, like you can't put the genie back in the bottle. You know, I think what's happened is that all the hate that's gone towards AFT was so 3 years ago. Just move on. You know, you're not telling them anything different. They know they're not liked. They know that certain fans don't like them, and so you can't stop what's there. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of the YouTubers have been given birth by Robbie. Robbie's basically christened them. You know, because simple reason is he had an idea and everyone's following it, and it provides people with like a good livelihood. But at the end of the day, people have to make hay when the sun shines, and if that's their way of making hay, then get on with it, because those things may not last as long as they would like. It's not going to give them a pension, is it? So let them make the hay.
True. Good point. I haven't thought about it like that. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up. As always, Aaron, thank you for joining me, my friend.
Pleasure.
Aaron Arsenal X-Rated TV is the channel this man has created. New channel. I was on there last week. Let's get him to 100 subs very quickly. And how you doing, mate? When's the next thing coming up?
Yeah, as I said, I think I'll probably do after Atlanta some player ratings, see what that's saying, and then I'll pre-record another video as well, like a match sort of reaction for the Friday. Sorry, I'll probably release it early sort of morning, late sort of morning, maybe about 11 o'clock-ish or so, just to get a bit more used to it. And I might be thinking about doing sort of a live reacting or something to the Man City game, maybe Sunday. See how I feel. Like I said, just to get a bit used to it. You know, it's not something I haven't done before. So you're only going to get better at things by practicing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, no, you just keep it going. You know, it's a great stream. I enjoyed it on Sunday evening. You know, it's good fun.
Thank you.
Anthony, my friend, you'll be on with Early Doors in a bit, I believe.
Yeah, be on in a bit on the Good, the Bad, the Ugly show. Talking about our teams. Also, you can find me on the Sunday night takeaway. Obviously, Jez, you're a regular on there. We had a good show on Sunday. You know, a good chat. We had a laugh. I showed Jez a mug that he sent me, and and also, you can find me on this channel as well. Arsenal History More on Jez's show. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Even share it. And also, you can find me on Football Dad's Army, a guy called Lee, that's on this show. He's an Arsenal fan as well. And we air on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at half 7, basically talking about Arsenal and getting questions and answers across.
Good man, top man. Kenny Ken, great show last night, and Dan Potsy's. I watched it. I was in the chat.
I know you're watching. I see we can hear. I see you in the sort of the chat. So I was in the chat as well. So thanks for watching as well. It was a good show. Enjoyed it. It was very civilised as well. We've got to talk about the game. No rows and arguments. But the game tomorrow is very big. You know, it's Championship. We've got to go for it. Obviously, going to watch the game on Sunday. But I'm just going to. Obviously, I've got to go because my food's arrived. But I've got to ask you one question. Quick answers only.
Yep.
Who's going to win between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, and what round?
Joshua in the 3rd.
Ooh, Kenny, I'm going to go Anthony Joshua, and I'm going to go in the 7th round.
Yeah, do you know what? The 5th round come to my head straight away. I'll go with a gut. AJ 5th.
All right, that's it. I'll be at Wembley watching the fight, so I'll be thinking of all this.
Oh, Kenny, you got a +1. You got a +1.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny, thanks for calling, man. You can find Kenny on Instagram, and we'll catch you all later, people. I'll do the outro. Much love, and we'll catch you all later. Take care, all. See you again.